Hey, welcome back. My name is Dino. This video is titled Final Thoughts on EdTech. It's a bit of a summary on some of the thoughts I've had over the course of several years thinking about EdTech. These are about the EdTech's future. For subtitles Panacea. For a lot of people, as tech has become only more and more powerful, it has increasingly been conceived of as a solution to all problems, including education, which is problematic. It's if I could sort of distill it down, is, hey, here's a Chromebook, problem solved. It's obviously learning and education is a human endeavor, and technology can certainly help and hinder depending on the situation. But some people just think it's just introduce the tech, all the problems are solved. On a related point is the idea of opportunity costs. The more that we have EdTech use, the greater we have EdTech use, the less we have face-to-face education. And then obviously there are implications for budgets. If you have a fixed capital acquisition budget, what you're buying with EdTech, you're not buying with other things that may be more useful, depending on the situation. Literacy and self-care, I'm putting them together, although you could make an argument that they're separate. And this is a question: should we try to formalize youth digital literacy and social media literacy and or self-care, given that youth use texts all the time and they use social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, etc.? Should we help them develop literacy about those things? And given the tremendous number of mental health issues challenging our youth today, should we sort of formalize some kind of self-care that's maybe school-based? Regulation. Given the amount of misinformation, which is unintentional, disinformation, which is intentional, and malinformation, which is a combination of having sort of malign impulses and using correct information but in bad ways, should we try to regulate the information ecosystem and the amount of misinformation, disinformation, malinformation that's out there? And if we do that, who do we look at regulating? Is it the producers? Is it the consumers? Is it the platforms? Very big questions. Ownership. What are the implications when we have billionaires control of media platforms and social media platforms that deal with speech, such as X/Twitter or the Washington Post? What does it mean when you have that kind of centralization of authority in someone that's so wealthy? So they have power in one field, say technology, but also in free speech platforms. The platforms themselves, I wonder in the future, are there going to continue to be free platforms, or are there going to be more subscription and streamed online platforms and models? So if potentially there's more and more dis and malinformation out there, will some platforms say, hey, here's the premium subscription where it's minus all of that stuff, it's been more curated? We'll see how that goes. Balkanization. I wonder if in the future we're going to have an increasingly regional global internet where there are different countries and regions that have their own internet, and each I'll just make the really simple. You sort of differentiate maybe between the West and the East, or the global North, global South. And what would be the implications of that as groups of people talk less and less and have less and less interests online? Monopolies. Do you believe that there are tech company monopolies? And if you believe so, should there be greater or less regulation, or should they be broken up into various things? So say if one media platform owns multiple, one organization owns multiple media platforms or social media platforms or technology devices, what should happen with them if they become so big? Canceling. What's the implication in the future of cancel culture and the culture wars online? For example, are we going to end up eventually, again, going back to the idea of balkanization, having two types of sort of Twitter type platforms? You have X and Twitter on one side for the left, and a True Social for the right. What are the implications of collapsing worlds as these devices get more and more magical, mystical, alluring? Are we going to have the continued migration, mix, and collapse of the offline world into the online? And what are the implications of that? Finally, this is sort of from all of those things together. Will there be an increasing loss of faith in and erosion of public institutions and spheres? And what are the long-term implications if we do not trust any of our major institutions, law, education, government, et cetera, what happens about that if our technology and our social media platforms continue to drive that or reflect that, depending on your view? That was final thoughts on EdTech. My name is Dino. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to like this video if you like it. Please feel free to add comments on any of those big, juicy issues. And finally, please feel free to subscribe to this channel if you like this type of content. As always, thanks for watching.